I asked my friend ChatGPT to give me a list of as many possible ways that it could think of for me as a small business owner who's selling websites to other small business owners to generate leads each and every single month. It gave me about a list of around about 150 different things that I could be doing every single day, every single week for me to be generating leads. In all honesty, I reckon I'm probably doing somewhere in the region of 2 of those things off the list, so I've still got a long way to go. I had to kind of sit with that number a little bit and ask myself a question that I don't necessarily want to answer. But before I get into that side of things, let me just quickly give you a recap as to what's actually happening with my business right now. I run a web design business called Northern Source, and I've been doing that now completely on my own for coming up to 4 years. At the moment, if you're one of those people, that's a handful of people that's been watching any of my videos previous to this, you'll know that this year in 2026, I've set myself not 1, but 2 absolutely mammoth goals for me to achieve. And those 2 goals are 1, to hit £100,000 turnover in my business within the 12 months of this year for the first time since the start of the business. And the second goal is for me to hit 100,000 followers across my social media channels. So mainly primarily focusing on LinkedIn and YouTube. So 2 absolutely massive goals, and that's my mission for this year. That's all I'm aiming for in 2026, is to hit £100,000 turnover and 100,000 followers. Everything that I'm doing is aimed at me achieving those 2 goals by the end of the year. Where am I at in terms of hitting the £100,000 goal where we sit today? Start of the year, absolutely fantastic. Took on 4 or 5 new clients and loads of ad hoc work as well. I've probably turned over somewhere in the region of about £15,000, so quite a way off yet. In terms of my pipeline, right now, as of today, I've got roughly in the pipeline around about £12,000 of estimates sent out and proposals sent out. So these are people that I've had sales calls with, and these are people that I've got actual estimates out with and who are considering obviously those estimates. As we all know as small business owners, those estimates mean absolutely nothing until the money lands in the bank, until we actually start on the projects. We can have £1 million in the pipeline, and it really doesn't matter until it actually converts into cold, hard cash. That's where I'm at the moment in terms of my pipeline. But what I know now is that for me to achieve my £100,000 turnover goal, I need that pipeline to be filled far more than that and far more consistently than that every single month. And that is kind of the reason why I sat there this morning and asked ChatGPT that question about how can I generate more leads, because ultimately I know that I need to be generating as many leads every single week as possible, getting as many of those people to actually book a sales call with me, because the more of those that I can get out, the more proposals that I can get out, and the more proposals that are in the pipeline, ultimately the more people I'm going to convert into paying clients. So this morning I was up at daft o'clock in the morning, and I was sat watching some things on YouTube. One of the things that popped up was another web guy. He sells websites to tradespeople. He's over in the US. He does it all through cold calling. So I think the title of the video that I saw on my For You page on YouTube was something along the lines of, "This is how I book 3 to 5 new sales calls every single week with tradespeople to sell websites." So something along those lines. So obviously I clicked on it and I watched it and I got hooked. So this guy literally just showed the process of him sitting there with his phone, with his laptop, with a list of people that he could call, and he was just dialing the phone, speaking to people, and aiming to get them booked onto sales calls. Now from that, another video popped up, and it was another guy. I'm not sure what this guy was actually selling, but basically his outbound approach was to be doing cold emails. So again, it was just him, his laptop, and a prospect list of loads of emails, and he was just obviously peppering these emails out and sending cold emails out and sending out his offer for what he actually did, all with the aim of getting people booked onto sales calls. And in all honesty, watching those 2 lads this morning really got kind of under my skin a little bit. I sat there and asked myself a question, and it was a little bit uncomfortable. Am I pushing myself as hard as I possibly can in order for me to achieve this £100,000 turnover goal? In all honesty, I think the answer to that is a big fat no. especially when I look at the list of 150 possible ways, and there's endless other ways compared to what ChatGPT gave me as well. But when I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm really only doing two, and that is making content and posting content to YouTube and posting content to LinkedIn. And then the second thing that I'm doing kind of consistently is sending DM messages out to people who have connected with me on LinkedIn. Other than that, that's pretty much all I'm actually doing. The question when I asked myself that in my head this morning, it stung quite a bit, because ultimately I'm not doing, or I'm not hitting anywhere near the amount of cadence in terms of the actions that I'm taking every single day, every single week, in order to actually get that pipeline filled. And it's showing, because ultimately over the last few weeks, I've not had any sales calls booked in. I think I've had one sales call since the start of February. I need to be booking sales calls, and I need to be booking sort of 5 or 6 sales calls every single week without fail, in order to convert enough of those at the percentage that I convert sales calls into paying clients in order for me to hit that £100,000. The answer's no. I'm not doing anywhere near enough. Content and making content is, it's hard work. It's not easy. But really, when I'm sat there thinking about it, I think I'm kind of using content as a little bit of one of those things where I'm kind of feeling like I'm being busy and being productive, but really hiding behind it a little bit, because with the rate that the content is actually bringing leads in at the moment, it's nowhere near enough for me to continually fill that pipeline and continue to hit that £100,000 goal. And I think I'm kind of getting a little bit comfortable, and I'm hiding behind the content and expecting the content to do all of the work. Now, I know when I send DMs out, that's got me some good results in the past, but at the moment, I'm not necessarily being as consistent as I should be with that. This morning, when I looked at that list that ChatGPT gave me, I came to a decision, and that decision is that I need to be picking off that list more things and doing more actionable things each and every week, each and every day, each and every month, in order for me to be generating as many leads as possible and getting my calendar filled to the brim with potential prospects who are jumping on sales calls with me. I'm going to start picking off the list. Some of the things that are on the list, these things, I'm not going to lie, make me feel sick just thinking about actually doing them. And again, this is a bit of the reason why content I enjoy making, content feels comfortable for me to make. Looking at this list that ChatGPT's given me makes me feel fear. It makes me feel fear of rejection, because a lot of it is cold calling. I know from experience, I've done cold calling before. You have to do 100 calls a day and you might get one sale. You get a lot of no's, you get a lot of people telling you to piss off, you get a lot of people fobbing you off. It's horrible work to do, but for me, if I could just get one sale from making 100 calls, that'd be worth, a couple of £3,000 to me. It's worth doing. To do that consistently, it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a lot of rejection, and the fear of rejection is very, very apparent with a lot of these things. Again, cold emailing. Cold emailing is not something I've ever done before, but for me, I can kind of look at it from my own experience of how many emails I get in my inbox every single day. Do you want to buy this? Jump on a call with me, schedule a meeting, and I just instantly look at the emails, think it's spam, and just delete it. So I'm going into that thinking cold emailing, surely everyone's just going to do exactly the same to me. How can I stand out when there's loads of other companies who also, even as a web designer, I get loads of people emailing me saying, do you want a new website? We can help you to build a website. But from all of the research that I'm doing, it sounds like people are getting good results from cold emails. So unless they're lying, I'm kind of going to have to take that and give it a try. Paid acquisition is something that I've, again, tinkered with in the past and never had any results. Obviously, you see the money going out of the bank as well, which sometimes stings a little bit when you're not actually getting any leads from it. But running Google ads, running Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn ads, all that kind of stuff. Referrals and partnerships. Again, this is something that I really do need to dig into a lot deeper, because there's no greater thing on the planet for your marketing than somebody who you've done a good job for shouting your praises and passing your details on and referring you on to people that they know. So creating some sort of referral incentive for my clients who I've built websites for to then refer me on to their clients or their people that they know. Networking events. This is a big one for me. I like talking to new people, but there's something about networking events where you just kind of stood around the buffet table, looking around, wondering if the cliquey people or, the groups of people who obviously go all the time, who know each other, and I've just found myself kind of milling around and on the outskirts and finding it difficult to actually butt in and say who I am and that kind of stuff. So it fills me with a little bit of dread, does networking events. It's something that I know is important. So again, highlighted on the list, and it's something that I'm going to look into actually getting started. Lead magnets, webinars, free tools and quizzes. They're the things that I've picked off that 150. So you can already see there's maybe 15, 20 different things there that I can be doing each and every month that could potentially be generating me more leads that I'm not currently doing at the moment. This is kind of my honest, upfront accountability. This is for me to say that I'm going to be trying a load of these things on the list, regardless of how uncomfortable they are, regardless of how horrible and icky they feel to do. The cold calling, the cold emailing, guys, it's just making me cringe just thinking about actually doing it. How other web designers doing it? I don't know. Is this a way for me to stand out? Is this a way for me to generate more leads? Is this a way for me to get closer to that £100,000 goal rather than just hiding behind making content and thinking that I'm doing enough? I'm going to be making more videos in the next few weeks, in the months, all the way throughout this year, following the journey in terms of the different things that I'm trying, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what I've felt while I've been doing it, the mistakes that I've made, that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be sharing it all in the hope that it might help one of you guys out there who's also watching as well. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And other than that, I shall see you on the next video. Ta-da!